Hello, everybody. It's me, Jeff Eichen, and if I have a video, that would be cool. Um, Today we have Paul Stanford on, and maybe some France, some Grasshopper, and who knows who else shows up today. But it's a great day. I wanted to share with you my story about. Mary Jane, and about how it's still a travesty that we have so many people in jail for marijuana. So it's episode 311, everybody. Let's, in fact, do that here. Let's go boom, and let's go episode. Oh man, come on, give me a break. Boom, boom, boom. So, episode 311. It's so beautiful to have consciousness, to be walking human, not behind bars. I mean, I talked to Edwin this morning, and he's gonna have me come out, and I've I've been swearing I was gonna go out for quite a while, but it's gonna happen. And let's see if I can move things around here so that's not in my face. So let's see here. So here we go. Alrighty, so it's episode 311, everybody, and let's see, where can I throw that? It would be cool to put it right there next to Relief Aid. Let's do a concert, everybody, and do a concert for Woodstock. I'm having a incredible concert this weekend, and I mean, not yeah, well, there's probably going to be music, but it's the Global Earth Retreat, and so let me play that for you. But in the meantime, let me go grab our let me go grab our video, and let's get started here because it's going to be a great episode. And here we go. So boom. Let's see if that'll go up. Come on, baby.
WEEDSDAYS.
So it's our Mary Jane special. It's time to end prohibition now.
Elliot had a sense of humor. I had a sense of humor, and we wanted to keep things light about something that was very serious. At the time, we lived in Tom Mix's cabin, the log cabin in Laurel Canyon, and that's where we would rehearse and it was
Can get my studio back. So we're trying here. I lost the whole studio. Everything went blank. As you know, whoever does blogging and posting and everything, it's what it is. But let's see if I can find our Chrome tab. Let's see here. Boom. We want to share our. We're going to try to share our. So it's not doing it now. So if we go Ecamm, StreamYard, share window, share Chrome tab. We don't have a Chrome tab for that. So let's go share. Okay, did we lose our Zoom chat? Let's see here. Zoom chat. No, we didn't lose our Zoom chat. So we're going to share our entire screen with you all because it's not letting me share my Zoom chat. Episode, no? Not letting me share my Zoom chat, but let's go all the way to the bottom and see if it's got near Z. Can we go Z here? So it's not letting me share my Zoom chat, so I will. Oh, there it is. It just popped into shape. So I'm going to do our intro again, everybody, and see if we don't lose it again. So it's Jeff Eichen with Weeds Day, and it's episode 311. And I've got a busy week, and we're going to have a Global Earth Retreat conference here, and I'll tell you a little bit about that. And so now we are going to get a video file. And here we go. So without ado, here we go. So it's episode 311, everybody, and I'm pleased to be here for 311 shows. And
Elliot had a sense of humor. I had a sense of humor, and we wanted to keep things light.
Wrote this freaking song that you all know
about something that was very serious. At the time, we lived in Tom Mix's cabin, the log cabin in Laurel Canyon, and that's where we would rehearse. And Tom had a vault downstairs next to the bowling alley. And our manager would actually lock us in the vault because the police were always trying to bust us. He would lock us in the vault, give us a couple of joints, and we'd get ready for our rehearsal. So we were one day in there, locked in the vault, and I'm talking, and I'm very animate. My hands move all the time. I'm just, and I get carried away talking sometimes, especially when after smoking a little pot. Anyway, so I'm holding on to this joint and talking, and Elliot says, "Hey man, don't bogart that thing. Pass it over." And I said, "What?" He said, "You're bogarting." I said, "What's bogarting?" It's hipsterism, man. It's like Humphrey Bogart when you're smoking a joint and talking and holding on to that thing and not passing it. If you hold on to it long enough until it goes out, that's called bogarting.
So these people have passed and left our realm. George Braddock and
President Trump please release and pardon Edwin Rubis. He is still in prison for a non-vi cannabis offense.
Prisoners, free the plant, free the planet, free yourself.
Don't forget, Aries, brothers and sisters, Chronic Magazine is having their event
this Saturday, 4/18.
And don't forget High Times and Charlotte. Welcome to episode 310. And today we have a Canna mom on the air. Hemp hooray. There's baby Landon, who is all about legacy.
Survive.
I call
with THC
the people in the industry that are activists
tumor
and tireless OGs. It's a noun, OG. One involved with like-minded others that provide a level of organization and resources that support much larger and more complex transactions than an individual could achieve. We, OGs, a real gangster, is someone who stands up for what we believe in, who fights for what they want, who works relentlessly to reach their goals. A real gangster works with a team to create a network. Some call this organized crime. I call it being a real OG. The real crime is sitting down and standing back and not letting others dictate your world. Let's stand up together and let's grid out the world, because the world we see is a world of equality, prosperity, and connectivity. OGs rise up to the occasion of being the change. If I can hear with Weeds Day.
Cannabis is the greatest plant on this earth, and it should be used properly. And don't believe all that negative propaganda that has been forced upon us over the last 100 years or so.
Hooray.
This is Tommy Chong for Lifers Madness.
We did have John for a while. Good afternoon, everybody. Is this thing on? Tap, tap, tap.
Free the prisoners, free the plant, free the planet, free yourself.
Hey, everybody. Whether it's episode 310 or 311, it is 311. It's a pleasure to be with you all today. And there we go. It's episode 311. And my friend George Braddock and M from the sauna at the Oregon Country Fair left the planet this year. And let's see who's coming in. And so my heart goes out to them. And also one of Vivian McPeak's friends, who was the lead guitar player of the Herbivores. And I want to read you something, everybody, here, that from Vivian McPeak on 5/2/23 some years ago. I'm very heartsick to announce that Jim Matheson. I can't pronounce that. Matheson. Okay. Singer guitar for the Herbivores died suddenly this evening. And if you are friends with Cindy, she will need your love and support. Jim is one of my best friends that I've ever had, and this news leaves me crushed. So in the midst of when you saw the intro, everybody, and I had George Braddock on M, and anybody else who has left the planet in the last, last week since our last episode, it's been amazing to realize and to sit back and to say, hey, I'm human, and what's your legacy, and how, we're sitting here now with Paul Stanford. How's it going, Paul?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's great to have you. And Paul's an advocate and a doctor. How many patients have you seen?
I'm not a doctor. My first name is Douglas. And so I since I was a teenager, I've been going by D. Paul Stanford. My mother always called me Paul. So I've been going by D. Paul Stanford long before I ever started working with doctors. I didn't start working with doctors until 1998. So I would have been about 48 then. And so I have worked with about 60 different doctors across the country in 9 different states in helping over 270,000 medical marijuana patients since 1999.
Whoa, that's amazing. We be on.
It is pretty amazing.
Hang on just a minute. I'm trying to text my buddy here.
First things first.
We be on. So yeah, so tell us a little bit about that, about the joy and the sorrow of the whole industry not being completely legal, and and pardoning insurrection people, and yet our prisoners come home and they still have ankle bracelets, and then you're helping people with the cannabinoid system, which it should be readily available to everybody after all this time. It's almost 100 years.
These days, about 10% of our patients are people who are on probation or parole who need their medical marijuana recommendation, or they can't use it at all. Of course, right now we work only in Oregon and Washington, and both states have recreational programs. In Oregon, every household can grow 4 plants, but Washington, you can't grow anything at all if you don't have a medical marijuana permit. Though a number of people like Don Skacke and Vivian McPeak have been trying to change that.
So, so the if I hear you correctly, in Oregon, you don't need a green card.
Well, you don't need it if you're gonna grow 4 plants or less. Anybody, every household, not every person, but every household can grow 4 plants under Oregon's recreational or adult use medical marijuana law. So Washington, the people who wrote it didn't put a home grow in there. And though a number of people have lobbied the legislature for a long time, it hasn't gone through. But in Oregon, you get and in Washington, you get a big discount. You get all the taxes taken off of the marijuana. And so for most of our patients, that's the biggest benefit. Most of our patients these days don't grow. You have to have some knowledge and a space to grow. The state has made it harder and harder for people to be growers for medical marijuana patients.
Right.
There used to be 17,000 people who grew for 3 patients and more. Now there are less than 100. And I haven't grown for more than 3 patients since about 2018. And I haven't grown for anybody but myself and my wife growing for herself over the past about 3 years, because we just don't want to have to be subject to the inspection. I didn't grow in my own house where I live until the past 3 years. I grew in other places.
Right.
And so I didn't mind the inspection at other places. But I don't want them to come and inspect my house, with my
And
trees.
you're a seasoned, incredible grower. You're one of the best out there. And some really important people used to come to you because you had really sweet bud.
Well, I still have really sweet bud, but I don't grow nearly as much. I can't grow for as many people as I used to because of the rules and regulations and changes in the law. So
why do you think marijuana is still illegal? I mean, why is there still reefer madness?
It's the petrochemical, pharmaceutical, military, industrial, transnational, corporate, elite, fascist sons of a bitches that don't want to compete with unregulated marijuana. That's basically it. If we had unregulated marijuana where everybody could grow
recording in progress,
then the law, then we would have been able to grow our own fuel. Every acre of land is capable of producing 300 gallons of fuel and 250 tons of hemp fiber and a residual 4 tons of hemp seed meal after you press the oil out of the seed. So, and that's allowing the leaves to go back into the soil to replenish the soil.
That's paper, fiber, fuel, medicine, and hempcrete and plastic.
Yeah, building materials.
Right.
As well.
Right. Here's a hempcrete ball, everybody. Sorry about my green screen, but this is actually hempcrete in my hand, and we're getting ready.
It looks very magical.
It is a magical hempcrete ball. Yeah, 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 yeah. But it warms my heart to see hempcrete structures. France is actually the leader in making hempcrete homes. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty
There's
cool.
more and more of them being made all over. Thank goodness.
And
And then
in,
there's hemp wood, a completely separate material from hemp fiber.
right,
That is
like 4x8
stronger.
sheets of 4x8 sheets where they press it and in millions of tons presses.
Well, I don't know about the pressure, but it's stronger than any wood. It's stronger than hickory, oak, mahogany. It's almost as strong as steel. You can Google hardness of materials, and hemp is right there beside steel.
What the
Because of
hell?
that,
What the hell?
because of that, several companies are booming and making flooring out of hemp because it's scratch resistant, more scratch resistant than any wood.
Well, and it's antimicrobial.
And that it doesn't off gas any noxious chemicals.
It's not,
And
and it's not sprayed with glyphosate.
um,
And like you said, or like you were alluding to, that you don't have to rotate the crop. You can plant it again in the same field.
yeah, it's probably a good idea to rotate the crop some if you're not fertilizing pretty well. But it will clear the field because it grows so fast and so tall. Nothing can grow under it, so it kills all competing weeds and things below its canopy.
Well, we're aiming for 1 million acres in Lakota, and South Dakota with the tribe there, and we got people down there. And my buddy here in Washington has a 3D printer. We've been talking about doing the dome, spraying a 3D dome, and doing it with his basalt and concrete combination for strength, because hempcrete is not structural, but it has one of the best R values for insulation of anything on the
Yeah.
planet. And so we're going to do 2 inches or 3 inches of hempcrete in between the sandwich of the cement and the basalt. And basalt is like steel, and that's going to be the rebar. So it's all going to be a natural dome house. And we're doing 3 of them on my property, and I'm going to film that, everybody. And then
So
maybe if we get $1 million to make that project happen, everybody, we'll be able to ship many of these printers to Gaza and rebuild war-torn countries. It's time for us to steward the rebuilding of the planet. This weekend, we're doing the Earth Repair Rebuilding Conference and the Convergence here in Port Townsend, and I'm filming that with my team, and it's a big deal. I have to go set up today after this show, but there's people from all over the world coming to Port Townsend this weekend, everybody. In fact, here, let me get that video for you, everybody. Let's see if I can get that video for you. So here's
It's Mother's Day this weekend, so everybody will be out with their mom and their kids.
Oh yeah. So hang on. Let me get that video for you. So
Don't try to go out and eat Sunday morning.
So if I get that video for you here, we're with Paul Stanford, everybody. It's episode 311 at WEEDSDAYS, and I'm gonna go get this video for you all here. And I see Mark Leon in the background. Hey Mark, how's it going?
Doing good. A very fascinating conversation and all along those lines. So I was here listening while also listening to a soccer match. But yeah, I was listening to your guests and very fascinating information. So glad that you're doing your fight and doing good work in this field and all along those lines. But yeah, I was definitely enjoying the conversation.
I didn't. Why don't you say hello and meet Paul Stanford? He's an
Hi there.
OG.
How you doing, Paul? Glad to meet you and everything like that. Like I said, I was hearing about what you were doing and even being involved in the legal field with a lot of lawyer friends, even though it doesn't sound like you're a practicing lawyer yourself and everything like that, and neither am I, but it definitely sounds like you have some very good advocacy friends. And my parents, both of them who are still living in their 80s, were very much in the advocacy field as well, in civil rights and stuff like that. So I know what it's like to have friends in the legal field, even if you're not a lawyer yourself.
That's true. I've worked with a lot of lawyers, but I'm not a lawyer. And I've worked with a lot of doctors, but I'm not a doctor. Though I do play a doctor in a movie that Jeff knows all about.
What movie did you play a doctor in?
The Green Goddess. You can find it on Tubi for free, or you can pay for it on Amazon. On Tubi, of course, you'll get some ads.
Gotcha.
Green Goddess. There's another one. You got to search because there's a Tarzan movie that came out in the 30s called The Green Goddess as well. It's not that one.
Not that one. So you don't want to get the Tarzan one. You want to get the one that has you playing. You said you're playing a doctor. Or you're playing a lawyer.
Yeah, I play a doctor in
Cool.
London. It's got over 500 special effects, and some of the people who worked on the special effects worked on Avatar and Titanic.
Oh wow!
Jeff, tell them about the special effects.
Oh man, this movie is not only a good ride, it's homespun, and the special effects are amazing. When the Green Goddess comes up, it's like you're in Avatar land, and it's just really high energy, high tech, and beautiful. It's fantastic.
Well, I'm a big fan of technology and particularly special effects. I actually have a friend that did a Cheech and Chong type movie in California, and actually I got to get him on your show, Jeff, and everything like that. But his most famous, my friend Ronnie Warner, for the film This Christmas, which is kind of like a black Home Alone. But he also did a film, and you can look it up on IMDb, called Puff Puff Pass. So he did that film as well. So he definitely did that film that was kind of a black Cheech and Chong type film and everything like that. But he did that sometime back in the early 2000s, if I remember correctly, because he'd been in the film industry for about 25 or 30 years.
Well, I have the International Cannabis Film Festival now, and at Emerald Cup this year, we may be doing a green carpet, and we'll forage your film again, Paul, there, and maybe we'll be able to play the whole thing. I'm really dedicated to working on the International Cannabis Film Festival, and through film, there's the Green Buffalo, talks about hemp. There's your film that talks about or that shows the lighter side of of just growing in other countries. Even we need to open up all the countries and to end freaking prohibition, everybody.
Yeah, definitely got to do that. No doubt about it. I'm a big fan of different types of film festivals. We just closed a film festival that the Pauli Murray Center did, which is a Black Cultural Art center here in Durham, not the one that I work at, which is the Hayti Heritage Center, but they just closed one recently that I think was a Black Trans film festival and everything like that. So I'm a big fan of film festivals that are diverse and that share different parts of our society. So they just did that. I think it closed either last weekend or the weekend before.
Well, I'm getting ready to go back to Peru in September, but in the meantime, I'm going to do all I can to figure out how to film. You can sit millions of people online and or 300 people in one theater to watch it. So the conversation grows when you watch things that are, I want to do a film on the Canna moms. I want to do a film on all the prisoners that came home, and then share that with the world. I can only do so much, so as Paul knows, so
Hey, Paul and Jeff, and then I'm gonna jump off this call and everything. But another friend of mine did, a couple of friends, Jody and Connie and everything. They just did a film festival that was, because they're part of a climate initiative. It's a climate group and everything like that. So they did a climate film festival. But what they did that was unique about the film festival was every last one of the films that was submitted, and it was probably about 10 or 15 films that were in this particular film festival, had to be shot on the phone. So these were all filmmakers, and some of them were professional filmmakers, some of them were amateur, but it was kind of like one of those 24-hour challenges, but they had to shoot the films, whatever the films were, and it was all nature related and saving our environment, but they had to shoot them on their phones, and they were some very good films. And
you just birthed the International Cannabis Film Festival contest. We'll do that, And how long were the films? Were they 3 minutes, or were they real films?
There were some were short films. I think there were some that were 3 minutes. I think the longest one I saw might have been about a half hour. Most of them were like between, I'd say, 3 to 8 minutes or 3 to 10 minutes. But there was at least 1 or 2 films that were longer lengths. I don't think that there was any that was a feature length film because it was, of course, done on the phone and everything like that. I think the longest one I saw might have been about 30 minutes, if I remember correctly.
Well, if you stick around for just a second, I'm going to play. We're doing a festival this weekend on global earth repair. So why don't you stick around for just a second here? And let's see if I can share my screen with Paul here. Let's see here. If I do Zoom and share, you can see what we're doing, Paul. Hang on. Let's share the screen. Let's share everything, and let's share with Paul. Okay, cool. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go and pull that video out, and here, oops, hang on. We're going to go pull that video out here. So we're going to share, stop screen share. No, we're going to go boom, show video. Let's see if I can do it on a video thing here. Bear with me, everybody. We're getting the incredible film here. That's I'm just learning how to do this here with StreamYard. So if I stop sharing and I go boom and I go share screen. Here we go. I'm
I think you lost your guest.
I know. No, we didn't lose him.
Okay.
I'm here.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
there. Yeah, so we're gonna go Chrome tab, video, YouTube. Here we go. Okay, so everybody, here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna put this up here. Here we go, everybody.
I see it in the YouTube, but did you click play yet? I think you got to click it in the YouTube.
Can you see it?
I see it, but you got to click play.
What are you saying?
I think you've got to click play in the YouTube. So you're sharing the link, but you got to actually hit the play.
Okay.
I'm watching it.
Oh, you're watching it? That's not showing. It's not showing over here.
Hang on. We'll get it. It's a StreamYard thing. Hang on. So I'm on the wrong tab here on StreamYard. So StreamYard, stop screen share. So I'm going to go to that other tab here. So share screen, and then I'm going to get that tab. Be patient with us, everybody. We are not amateurs. Okay, so let's see here. So let's go here, and here we go. Boom. And then there we go. Okay, here we go.
Earth repair movement. It is happening in thousands of localities around the world.
Job and everybody here was so deeply moved and supportive of the ideas of earth repair. So I think we've got a lot of people who want to work together for the rest of our lives, and we've got a lot of work to do.
Right, and it's a groundswell of public opinion out there. We're really riding the crest of the wave. There's people getting involved left and right. We just need another 3 billion, 4 or 5 billion. I actually figure even just 10% of the human race really getting at it would probably do a good job. So that's only like 700 million people, and so let's go for it, John. Keep going.
All right, I think I think the ecosystem restoration camps and the earth repair movement, they can work together. they are the same.
We are working together.
Yeah. So we all know the secret handshake, and we're committed to it, and we have decided, we've made this commitment. So let's work together for the rest of our lives.
Amen.
Yeah.
Happening this week, everybody. Go to globalconvergence.com.
The purpose of the Global Earth Repair Conference is to help this movement become more conscious of itself, more unified, and put its voice out to the world. We want the world to know that there's this path forward. There are a lot of people working on it, and many, 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 many more people can join in. We need a worldwide program, and we need it now. And so this conference is very timely. So please, folks, please help this conference. There are a number of ways you can help. You can actually attend the conference, or you can attend online. We are going to make it possible for our information to be sent around the world through webinars and podcasts and live streaming and Skype and Zoom. There are many ways that you can be at the conference, even if you can't be there physically. And you can send us your information. You can have input into this grand undertaking we're doing for the world.
So everybody, click on the.
Very good.
I made that video, everybody. So click on the. Yeah, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. And if you need me to make a video, everybody, call me up. I'm only $1,500 a minute, but it's all good. But that's happening, and so I'm going to see if I can get us back here from the studio. Boom. Here, if I can get us back here. Boom.
Yep.
An output, right? 1,500 for a minute. It's not like your hourly rate or something.
Well, actually, I'm gonna talk about that in a second. Here is I want to see if I can get you back on here. Let me stop sharing the screen with Zoom.
It's okay.
There we go. So we stop sharing
It
Zoom.
seemed mildly mug enough.
Okay, so there we go. Okay, now we got you. Now we got you. So, and now we're gonna go. Let's see here. We've got to get Paul back on. So we've got you. We've got remove. Okay, remove that, and we've got that, and we're gonna add stop screen share. Okay, so we're gonna go now, and I think Mark is better at this than me, but I'm learning. I'm learning about.
Yeah, you're doing good.
I'm learning all about this. Okay, here comes Paul.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna go share. There he is. Okay, so we got Paul on, everybody, and it's Jeff and Mark and Paul. Yeah, that's what's going on here. We're doing that, but let me address the $1,500 a minute. It's actually $1,000 a minute for me to do a 3-minute music video, which I do. Everybody, it's only
saying $3,000.
Yeah, it's only $3,000, but that allows me to come to you. That allows me to shoot it. That allows me to produce it. And a 3-minute video takes me like 8 or 10 hours to process. How people charge for editing, and at $100 an hour, it's a bargain. But it sounds.
Yeah, because you're basically charging the video time limit and everything. So a 3-minute video at $1,000 a minute is not really that bad, because you're really doing more like 8 to 15 hours worth of work. So it actually comes out to hundreds of dollars in terms of the actual charges and everything like that.
When I do a short documentary, and it's a short documentary at South by Southwest, the definition of it is 39 minutes. Okay,
right.
And so that's what it costs to produce and to get a filmmaker like myself to do that. But I'm all in house. I will edit it just like that video we just saw. But the idea is that this weekend, right when I'm done here, I'm going over to set my cameras up. They're doing live streaming. They came in from British Columbia, and Paul knows because he just went to Hempstock or Hempfest in Idaho. And so, Mark, do you have to leave?
Yeah, I got to leave shortly, so I'm getting ready to leave in about a few minutes because I got to get ready to depart and get ready to do my show shortly. I got to see if my guests are coming in. But yes, I'm getting ready to leave you and Paul. But it was a great conversation, and I enjoyed hearing about what you've got going on. And definitely, you should have got to get that idea of doing some shorts like they were doing with the Climate Justice Film Festival and everything like that. So definitely, shorts that can be done on the phone might be a whole category that you can incorporate into your festival.
Ask Paul how many shows he's done, episodes he's done on marijuana.
How many episodes have you done, Paul?
1,215 hours or episodes since 1996.
Wow. So we're coming up on, this is 26, so 30 years. That's a lot of episodes in that amount of time. So yeah, you've been ripping and rolling over a 30-year period.
30th episode. Yeah.
Wow. Amazing. Pleasure to meet you, Paul. I'm going to turn you back over to Jeff, but definitely glad to meet you and everything like that. Glad that you're continuing this great work and everything like that. And hopefully I'll see you maybe on another episode of Jeff's show in the not too distant future.
Mark, next week, call me on Monday or Tuesday. I have some tech support from you. And thank you, everybody. Give a round of applause for Mark. Mark is our freaking favorite hero from POD TV. That's our parent company. They put us on Roku. We're on Roku right now, and YouTube. So it's really great. Paul, I'm going to open up something here, and I'm going to read it also. We talked about this before we got on today, but if I get my eCam here, I'm going to be able to get my incredible. Tell us about that.
Yeah. Well, I was there, and I was one of 6 people who were arrested at the first time they delivered nuclear missiles, to our knowledge, to the Trident submarines over off of the Puget Sound in the Hood Canal. And so I wrote a little article about that. We were just charged with a misdemeanor under Washington law, attempting to block or delay a train. Later, they charged people with felonies. And this one fellow in California, he got ran over by the train and he lost his legs.
What?
So
during the protest?
Yes, during the protest. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was like the lady that lost her arm at Standing Rock with the water gun. I mean, what's going on? When are we going to be nice to each other?
Well, it's a tragedy, but I stood up then. It was 1983, and I was 22 years old. I heard that a train I watched the news, so I saw, back then we all watched the 3 networks, and so I saw that a train was being protested around Denver. It was carrying hydrogen bomb warheads from the Pantex Corporation in Amarillo, Texas. Then I saw it was being protested along the way. And a local newspaper said a Methodist minister was going to organize a rally in Elma. At that time, I was a Evergreen State College student in Olympia, and Elma was like 30 miles away. And I was about 60 miles from the sub base. So I went there, and the article that I wrote on for the Yippie newspaper, Overthrow, tells the story better than I can in short order. But you can see that if you look up "blocking a payload of death" on the internet. But there's the front page from the Seattle Times. There were about 150 protesters and probably almost as many media people. There were helicopters and airplanes circling overhead. This was major national news, and we made the front cover of the New York Times as well that day.
Let me read a little bit of your article, and stop me when you think it's enough here.
Well, you decide. You decide.
Okay, okay. If anyone had told me a week before that I would be in a sheriff's car handcuffed with a nun on the way to jail, I probably would have told them they were crazy. But here it is. What really happening. I had just been busted for laying in front of an armored train that we believe was carrying over 100 hydrogen bomb warheads to America's newest nuclear nightmare, the Trident submarines. There were over 300 fellow protesters lining the last 100 yards of the track leading into the Navy's nuclear submarine base, Bangor, Washington, and the opposite side of the Puget Sound from Seattle. This was the end of the line, a line that was stretched more than halfway across the continent, beginning from the Pantex Corporation in Amarillo, Texas. Before the train had ever reached Washington State, thousands of were demonstrated along the tracks, and more than a dozen have been arrested for trying to block the progress. Many of those present on this day of March 22nd, 1983, at the Bangor submarine base were members of the local nuclear disarmament group called Ground Zero Center for Nonviolent Action. The same group organized fellatio to blockade the Trident sub USS Ohio. The first entered the Puget Sound last August. Today, they had a group of 7 people who had been training together for 3 days on civil disobedience techniques. Each of the 7 were written a couple of paragraphs of doing the 2-page statement that the Ground Zero had prepared for distribution for their after the arrest. I had first found out that this payload of death was traveling within 30 miles of my home 4 days before the article, and a colossal Washington newspaper alerted me to the Methodist minister, Paul Jeffrey, who was organizing a series of vigils along the railroad tracks in Elma, Washington, a small logging town 40 miles from the sub base. I called him and found out that he was affiliated with Ground Zero and was like myself on Evergreen State College. Graduate Evergreen is one of the alternative non-traditional colleges in Western Washington. He had recently turned from his own personal fact-finding trip to Nicaragua. He promised to call me when the train arrived at 6:15 Tuesday morning. I got the call. The train would be there in Alma between 8 and 9. Paul Stanford in Oregon Leaf magazine. When I first got there was a crowd of 50, and they'd already assembled over 2 overpasses of the tracks, and soon it swelled to 150. And then there were 3 helicopters, TV helicopters, and 2 planes started out to circle overhead. I realized that it wouldn't be long before the train arrived. 5 minutes later, the train appeared. As it passed under us, we threw hundreds of the origami doves on top of the
crane. Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, origami cranes, I think it is.
It says DOES, but I said doves.
It must be doves.
So I said doves. Okay, cranes or doves, the same difference. On top of the 12 low white cars, and held the waterheads to symbolize our hope for a safer planet. As the train disappeared, I heard someone after a ride to Bangor substation, since my gas tank was as usual very low, I was quick to accept. So everybody, this is an amazing coincidence.
I have to take a call. I'll be standing by.
Okay. So this is amazing coincidence, everybody, to have Paul Stanford in the house and to talk about nuclear protesting. Maybe Paul himself was the, let's see, maybe Paul himself was the not instigator, but the incredible. That was his first time that he did protesting, and then he got into the 420 marijuana time. And so now we've all been to in our circle of joy, which we're not happy, but we're happy when we help to bring a prisoner home. But our circle of releasing the prisoners and ending prohibition for marijuana. Maybe it started with nuclear disarmament people that were traveling for many miles and many moons to go protest nuclear warheads. I mean, it's not the same, but it is the same. It's speaking up for your rights. So as Bob Marley says, get up, stand up for your rights, which is an important thing. Let me see if I can get up and stand up and show you the shirt that I'm wearing, because the shirt I'm wearing is Imagine Peace. This shirt is like 30 years old, maybe 40, maybe 50, but it hasn't torn yet. Whoever made it in beautiful, long-lasting material. And so I'm blessed that we got to give thanks for those who just moved on the planet or off the planet, George Braddock and M and the Herbivore band, incredible guitar player. And so Matheson, I'm so sorry for all you that, that lose somebody, but if you live long and good and have your own legacy and hold and hug those people that you love and that are part of the solution, you can definitely, hang on, let me pin myself to the front here. You can definitely be incredible yourself and not actually miss them. Just know that you are with them. And so, in fact, I'm going to show you here on my favorite software here, some other people that we love and miss. So there's George Carlin and his wife. Let's see if I can read you the George Carlin story here. The George Carlin story with his wife here. George Carlin lived his life with a sharp tongue and a fast mind, but behind the scenes, he found a rare kind of peace in his later years. After he lost his first wife of many years, he thought that he'd just settle into a quiet, cynical retirement. Then he met Sally Wade, and everything shifted. They spent over a decade building a life that was private, intellectual, and surprisingly tender. For a man known for his biting social commentary, there was a team in every sense. They were a team in every sense of the word. George wasn't just a comedian to Sally. He was a partner who left handwritten notes all around the house and valued their quiet time. And from the cameras, when he was away from the cameras and crowds, they lived a life that was less about Hollywood spotlight and more about the connection. They shared a home with a loyal dog nearby to keep them company. The timing of his passing in 2008 was tough pill to swallow for those who knew their story. He just did a chapter that had brought him a lot of genuine happiness after the year of grinding on the road and performing under the bright lights of the stage, while the world remembers him for 7 dirty words and his fearless attacks on the status quo. His inner circle remembers the man who was deeply devoted to the people he loved. Sally eventually shared some of their private world through her writing and showing a slideshow of George that the public rarely got to see. A man who was thoughtful and kind and private and loud and provocative and public. He left behind a massive legacy of work that still hits home today, but he also left behind a story of life well lived. He well lived. Yeah, he didn't beat nobody up. He didn't just talk about the truth, he lived it. Right down to the quiet moments he shared with the person who knew him best. So Rip, Jim Matheson's, George Carlin, and all the rest. Now, you can see that photo there in the corner here. That's Tommy Chong and Cheech. So we're trying to get them to come to Port Townsend for the film festival this year. Let's see if we can do that. Be really wonderful. And we're coming to the top of the hour here, everybody. So Cheech says Tommy says, well, they both said hemp hemp hooray. And that was something that Jack always used to say. So we love you, but they're not gone. So today we're talking about the people that were tireless in activism, like Paul Stanford. And so it was really beautiful to have Paul on the show today. Thank you, Paul, for joining us today.
You're welcome. I was able to get back. I had to answer a business call there. Sorry for that interruption.
Oh, that's fantastic. Hang on just a minute. Let me pin myself here. If I can get to my boom, 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 boom. You know what? I don't know how to unpin myself. Hang on. So remove pin. There it is. Boom. Okay, there's Paul, everybody. So today we honored the fallen. We've honored filming. We've honored being the first at a nuclear rally that kind of got your juices chopped up to be an activist in a clean manner. They were teaching activism. The Fantastic Seven. I mean they were teaching us how to do it.
I think they were, in the end, we were called the Banker Six because out of their team of 7 people, only 4 of them got arrested. And I was the only one that reached the railroad tracks. And the police asked me when I was in jail if I would let the train run over me. And I said, no, I would jump on it. And I climbed to the top, which is what I would have done. I would never let the train run over me. It wasn't going very fast, And so, anyway,
I know a game of chicken.
Grabbed my arm. I just did what they wanted me to do at that point.
Well, everybody, we're OGs. There's 2 of us in the house here. We're not Altacockers yet, but we're OGs. That means old guys. So everybody, and we're original gangsters.
Okay. Well, it's been fun being on your show again, Jeff.
We're at the top of the hour. We're with Paul Stanford. Where can they find you? Where can they find your website? Where can they find you?
You can find me at dpaulstanford.org or thc-foundation.org. That's our clinic.
Okay.
Or if you go to Wikipedia, just look up Paul Stanford.
Okay, and that's without a D, everybody. That's Stanford, like the school.
Yeah, our office number, if you want to get a medical marijuana permit in Oregon and Washington, is 503-235-4606. We're still helping patients.
It's beautiful to have you. What days are you open?
Well, I'm open all the time. We schedule the doctor 1 or 2 days a week.
Okay.
But we answer the phone almost all the time.
Okay. Well, you heard it here, everybody. That
you saw me just answer the phone, so there I was.
You've heard it here, everybody. No one deserves to be in jail for a plan, and we need to end prohibition together and stop nuclear. Stop warring, everybody. Be nice to each other. It's Jeff Eichen with episode 311. It's been a pleasure, Paul, And I wish I had your bag. All right, we're going to go off and do a Global Earth Retreat. Thank you, Paul, and thanks everybody for joining us today. It's been my pleasure. Thank you, Paul. Okay. So everybody, I'm going to put my myself back in the spotlight here. And there we are. We're still filming, and we're on Roku, we're on YouTube, and it's been a great show. Thank you, Hemp Hooray, and I can't wait to see you, have you in the box, okay? And to all those that have left the planet, my heart goes out for their families, and my heart is with you for helping us to be activists, and for those that have, like I said, left the planet, my heart goes out to your family and to yourself for doing a good job. And for Paul Stanford, thank you for joining us today. And don't forget, Chronic Magazine. Let's see if we can get our Chronic Magazine here. Boom. Chronic Magazine is on the newsstands right now, and we have an episode. We have a page in Chronic Magazine this month, the OG of the month, with Vivian McPeak. So love you, Vivian. Love HempFest. Love everybody in the weed industry and on the planet. You know what? If the enemy is hungry, feed them. Hemp hooray, everybody. Here's my thank you. Goodbye here. Okay, and we're going to convert and get out of here. Okay, peace out. I'm going to Global Earth Retreat, and it's Global Earth Repair Convergence.com. Maybe it's .org. But come this weekend. Love you all. Peace.